I decided while I'm walking looking for this lake to take my shoes off. And it's pretty convenient that this whole pathway is sandy. But I came across this gentleman who was like, yeah, if you walk down this path and take a right, you know, it'll take you right over by a lake. I'm like, okay. Let me show you what I'm seeing. Hi friends! Welcome to episode 24 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and you can find me anywhere online as Nadir Tani. I am coming to you today from inside my home in Central Florida. I had like grand plans for filming this episode like out on an adventure, but I got all the way to the park where I was going to film, had all my stuff packed up, my notes ready and everything. Got all the way out there, found a spot that was like secluded, there were no people. It was like the perfect spot for an introvert who wants to be outside but doesn't really want to deal with people. Found a nice spot, I was ready to get started, looked at my stuff, no iPad. So I couldn't film anything. So I was like, okay, I'll just film outside in my backyard like I have for the last two episodes. Unfortunately, when I got home, it started raining. So that's why I'm coming to you from inside my house in Central Florida. We do have a Ravelry group for this podcast or this Craftcast. If you search through the groups tab and type in Quirky Monday Craftcast, you will find us. There is a thread for questions and answers, or for questions. I do want to do a Q&A video. At some point in the near future, I want to do a Q&A video. So pop over there, ask me any questions about me, my crafting history, whatever you want to know. I am joined by the dogs today. Kiva is sitting next to me, so if you hear any snoring, that's because she's passed out. And Tootie is underneath the bed like a little gremlin. You may hear her grumbling, growling, barking under her breath because she is a gremlin. But that's what we're dealing with today. That's what's going on in... There you go, see? Tootie, can you stop yelling? Thank you. Shh. So, I have a little to show you today. This is my third episode that I would have done like one per week. And I'm realizing that I think the reason, aside from the fact that I don't know how to stop talking, the reason that my episodes have been so long, like historically, is because I was going, 2-3 weeks in between. So I had a lot of time to like work on things, and I had lots of projects to talk about. When I was writing my notes up today, I was like, I don't have any finished objects. And it wasn't until I went scrolling through my Instagram and my gallery on my phone that I realized I do have a knit finished object and kind of like a doodle drawing kind of finished object. So first I will talk to you a little bit about the knit finished object. I don't have it with me because I mailed it out to the recipient already. It was a newborn size, or 0 to 3 month size flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. I knit that for my friend Kira, who is the host of the Knitting Annihilator podcast. And any day now, she'll be welcoming her new baby boy. And I made him a little sweater. And oh my gosh, it was so tiny and so cute. And it just made me want to squeal. Like, anyway, I'll insert a picture here so that you can see the sweater. I knit it from, I forget what brand did the like gradient sets that you can find at Joann's. It was like 4 balls of tonal, or like they were 4 solids, but they went in a gradient. Um, and there was like a gray one, a blue, purple, I think there was a pink one or a red one or something like that. This was like a couple months ago in Joann's that they were, selling these things. And so I picked up a gray one. And as you've seen, I knit the sweater in 3 shades of gray. I omitted the garter ridge detail on the sleeves for the flax, just because I didn't feel like purling. So I just stockinette the whole thing. It worked up really fast, of course, because it's like this big. And yeah, what else can I tell you about that? The yarn is 100% acrylic, which is excellent for baby garments because they're going to mess them up. And I can only imagine as a new mom, you're not going to want to be like, do I have to hand wash this? I'd imagine that you want to just chuck everything in the wash and, not really have to put brain power on that. So yeah. So I knit him a flax sweater. So fingers crossed it will fit for at least a little while. I know it's still kind of cold, or it may still be cold in Alabama, or like on and off or whatever. So hopefully baby will get at least one wear out of it. Fingers crossed. So yeah, that is my only fibery finished object. I do have another finished object. I put it in here just because like one night I was doodling and just kind of I was doodling some mountains, and really I've recently been feeling a lot of homesickness for the mountains and like the wilderness. Like before I moved here to Florida, I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, which is like right in the Tennessee Valley. So there's mountains and it's beautiful, and like, oh my gosh, I was feeling some homesickness for the mountains, and I doodled this. And I also kind of free wrote like a little tiny poem to go with it. But just some scribbly, doodly mountains and a little poem. It says, "Dear mountainside, you pull me in like a needle threaded through my heart and stitched between the roots of your trees." And that's, I don't know, just kind of how I've been feeling the last couple days. Just really wanting to get out and be in nature, and it's been calling me a little bit. But that's why I really wanted to film out at the park, because like all the trees and everything, but I did get to walk around, so that's good. So that's everything that I would qualify as a finished object. Next, we'll move into works in progress. I have 3. Yes, I have 3. First, we will start out with the pinwheel sweater. Uh-oh, am I frogging this? No. This is a sweater that I am crocheting for the SPRINGGARMENTKAL, hosted by Zakia of the LADYWING Crafts podcast. If I could figure out which way is up, I would show it to you. So far, this is how much I have. We've got the sleevey bits here. This has really no hanging personality. So, it's got just the top of it hangs down like that. And yeah, so that's what the yarn worked up like. This is Lion Brand Mandala in the Spirit colorway. I am working on my second ball right now, and yeah. So let me be honest about this sweater. I think it might get frosty, because I keep trying it on and something about it is just not quite jiving with me. Like, I love the colors. I love the spiral detailing, but I can't put my finger on it, but something is just not quite right. So I put it on the other day and I asked Lamar, my husband, I said, does this look stupid? And he was like you could really see him trying not to say, yes, that looks stupid, take it off. So I told him, I was like, I don't know how I'm feeling about it. I don't know if I like it. And he's like, I don't know about, and he was like pointing to how the front does this kind of like weird ruffly thing. I told him after I block it, it's not going to have that curling. So, yeah. So what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and put the sleeves on and see if having sleeves changes my perception of the garment. And if it doesn't, then I'm either just going to frog this and make it into something else, or keep going around, and because it's almost like Lapgan blanket size right now. So I can just keep going on, finish out that yarn, and then I might even just continue with the leftovers from my Genie colorway, because it's just like shades of gray that I have left of that one, and just make a round blanket and then just sew up the armholes and just keep it pushing. That might be what I do, because I don't want to frog this, but I don't know how I feel about it. So I don't know, guys. We'll see. I'm going to put the sleeves on and see if that makes any difference. Watch this space. I might have a blanket next week. But yeah. So that's that. Anything else? Anything else I want to tell you about this? No? It's basically it. It's just all double crochets. Nothing fancy. Nothing spectacular. I am practicing crocheting and not looking, because I'm like, I can knit and not look, so I want to be able to crochet and not look. And this is living in my alpaca my yarn. In this bag. I got this at Joann's. This little tote. It's adorable. I love it. And that's what that's in. My next work in progress, I have 2 sock whips right now, and they are both living in one of my Quirky Monday bags. This is for my February update. I do have a whole lot of Ankara or African print fabrics that are going into the shop in celebration of Black History Month. There will also be some Valentine's patterns, which I'll show you at the end of the episode. But this was a whoopsie bag, because when I cut the pattern pieces, I got some of the label as well. So, whoopsie. So I was like, oh, I don't want to sell that. That's not cut right. So it's mine. And since it's mine, I didn't line it. There's no interfacing in it. I just used like scrap fabric for the inside instead of the white linings that I like using for my bags in my shop. This is a new detail that I'm putting on my bags. I am equipping them with a removable strap, and that connects to a D-hook or a D-ring. So, yeah, there's a bit more like fun things, because I realize some people may not always want to have a strap on their bags. And this also is a nice place to keep stitch markers. So, and another thing, I was talking to one of my friends, and she was like, oh, this would make a really nice key fob. And I was like, go ahead, girl. Multi-use product pieces. Anyway, so yeah. So I will, talk a little bit more about Quirky Monday at the end. But my next work in progress is a hoe. These are my birthday socks. And this is these are the February Lady socks by Kate Atherley. I am knitting them in hand-dyed Knit Picks Stroll Glimmer for the main body. The heels are Deborah Norville Serenity Sock in black. The cuffs and toes are Deborah Norville Serenity Sock in purple that I over dyed to make it like a different shade of purple. Yeah. So here, and I don't have my sock blockers. What kind of... Guys, I'm not a professional. So here is the pattern. So it's a nice lacy pattern. It's super easy to memorize. It's a 4-row repeat. And yeah, I love how they came out. And there's the heel. I did shorty socks because I was super nervous that I was going to run out of yarn. I know I could have knit them toe up and just knit until I had 25 grams left, because I did a 50-gram ball. Like, there's the ball. I did a 50-gram ball, and I know I could have done them toe up and knit until I had 25 grams left and then, you know, go on from there. But I just really didn't feel like it. There's really no reason that I didn't feel like it other than I just didn't feel like it. So I have a shorty sock. And I love it. Look, this is how the yarn knits up in stockinette. I love it. So, yeah. And this is how much I have left on this, or done on the second sock. I think I'm ready to put in the heel. Yeah, I'm ready to do the heel. It is a short row, double wrap and turn heel. I always do my heels down to 10 live stitches and then, you know, finish off the heel. And then the foot is 77 rows of the pattern, only because I accidentally knit 2 of the rows twice in this one, so I have a little mistake. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Can you see it? Alright, you see how there's a regular pattern and then right here there's a chunk of stockinette? So in here I accidentally knit the same row twice, but no problem. I'll just add 2 more rows to the end of this sock and they will be the same length. So yeah, it's fine. So those are my first work in progress, and I have been I've been feverishly knitting on these because I want to have them for my birthday, which is February 24th. And yes, so I can even slow down on these because I finished, let me see, when did I start these? I think I started these on the 24th of January. Yeah, I started these on the 24th of January. I finished the first sock Saturday night? Like this past Saturday night, which, I don't know, it was like the 27th? Today's the 29th, 28th. Yeah, the 27th. So, wow, that's like 3 days to knit a sock. So I can definitely slow down on these. I'm not going to because I want them to be finished. So that is work in progress number 1. Work in progress number 2 has a tale of woe and a tale of WTF. So these are my pie socks, okay? And this is the finished one. And they're pie socks because the stripes sequence is the numbers for pi, 3.14, etc. And here's the second one. I finished the leg and I'm onto the foot. Now, I got to the heel. Let me rephrase that. I got all the way to the heel before realizing that something was wrong. So remember how I said I do my short row heels down to 10 live stitches? So I knit my socks on 64 stitches, which means when you do short rows down to 10 live, there's 11 on the 11 wrap stitches on each side and 10 in the middle, which is going to give you 32 stitches, right? I'm knitting along on here, and there are considerably more than 32 stitches. And I'm like, what? What's going on? So I go back and I count. How is this a 68 stitch sock? How did I cast on 68 stitches and not realize, like, I mean, I can understand not realizing it's bigger, like when you're doing this, because you're just going around. You're not like, this feels bigger in my hands. But even now, like, now that I know it's bigger, it does feel bigger in my hands. And then look at this. Let's do it this way. I'm going to line these up because I had to line them up when I realized I cast on more stitches, because I was like, no, it couldn't be. Look at how much difference. See, they're even on this side. Look at this foolishness. That's like a 1/4 of an inch over there. Like, get out of here. So this sock is considerably larger than the first one. So I was like, if I frog this sock, it's going to be very hard for me to knit it again. Like, not difficult in knitting in general, but difficult in the desire to knit this particular sock again. I don't think I'm going to want to do it. So what I did was I finished the heel, I fudged it, I did some extra decreases to get it down to the right stitch count. Then I went on with my my foot, getting my foot set up with the 64 stitches instead of 68. So the foot is going to be the right stitch count. So what I think I'm going to do is finish the sock, cast it off, and then try it on. Now, if this sock like keeps sliding down and crunching down and it's just stupid and annoying, then I will consider reknitting it. And what I was thinking about doing would be reknitting it toe up and just like pull out the toe from this one and just start knitting and just kind of like unravel this one while knitting it into the second sock. Like, that's the only way that I think I can actually get this done again if I need to reknit this sock. But at the moment, I'm just like, it's fine. It's fine. I don't care. But we'll see after I wear it. But yeah. What? Get out of here. I'm just going to put this away now because this is frustrating me. That's all of my yarny works in progress. I do have a sewing work in progress, which I talked about last week. My coffee tastes funny. Last week I was debating which dress I was going to do for my birthday dress. Because I wanted to have a special dress for my birthday, wear church, everything like that. Woo woo. Where did I put it? I decided to go with the dress, the 6955. Oh, here it is. I went with this dress, McCall 6955, and I'm making this version. Is that right? Yeah, I'm making this version. And guys, I realized that I kind of have a problem when I went to pick out the fabric for this dress, because I knew I wanted to use some of the African print fabric that I bought recently. Not recently. It was like at least 6 months ago that I bought this fabric, I think. So my problem is I buy fabric in arbitrary amounts because I'm like, I might want to make a dress out of this in the future. But I buy like amounts like 3 yards or 2.5, 2 to 3 yards, because I'm like, that's about a dress amount, right? I need to just go through like patterns I'm likely to make and just look at the amounts of fabrics so that I won't do what I did with this and have my little heartbreak moments again. So a couple nights ago, I was like, all right, I'm going to cut the pieces for this dress so that I can get it started. And I pulled out all of the like garment quantities of African print fabrics that I have. It was like 3 or 4, I think, like garment quantities. And I decided to go with this fabric. Let's see. I guess I could have brought a bigger cut of it. But this is kind of the idea that the fabric has. It's got this beautiful like robin's egg blue. This is almost like a highlighter yellow. And then all of the dark areas, it's like a dark brown. So this is the fabric I'm making my dress out of. And like I said, I am making this dress out of this fabric. And I cut the pieces, or I washed the fabric, I laid it out, I ironed it, I laid out the skirt pieces first, which I'm so glad I did, because the amount of fabric I had was exactly enough for only the skirt. So I'm like, oh my gosh, let me go over to the store, see if they have any more of this fabric. The next day, I drive over to the store. They have other African print fabrics, but they don't have this one. So I was like super irritated. And so I was like, okay, well, I can make it into just a skirt and just, make a waistband for it and call it a day. And I was going to do that, but then I just started feeling like, no, I want this to be a dress. So then I set upon looking for a contrast fabric to go and be the bodice of the dress. And then I would have the Ankara or the wax print fabric be the skirt of the dress. And that I was much happier with. And then I was successful in finding the fabric in my stash. This is a chocolate brown fabric that I had actually purchased to be the contrast bits to bags for the Quirky Monday shop. I can get some more of this. So this is going to go with this. And then this will be the skirt. And it's about T-length, so halfway down my shin. So that should be really cute, I think. And then this is going to be the bodice. That's the back. So here's the front. Okay. And then skirt. So I have all of my pieces cut. I have my lining pieces, my outer fabric pieces, my skirt. And now all that's left is to start the construction. And I am moving a lot more slowly with this just because I want to make sure that it's, sewn properly, that I don't make silly mistakes, especially in the skirt, because I have 0 wiggle room. Like, yeah. But yeah, so that is my sewing work in progress. All right, so that's everything for works in progress, and we are going to move right along to maker plans. So the first thing that I want to mention is like for the maker plans is I have this idea for like a sock collection, and it's based off of my my pie socks. So I had put out there asking for like people to put in suggestions for like clever names for my pie socks and blah blah. And a lovely viewer did put in like the best name suggestion. Like when I read this, I was like, yes, I love that. I have to come up with more ideas to go into like under this umbrella because it's too awesome for it to just be one pair of socks. She said I should call it the Mathemastician socks. I love it. It's so cool. And I said it to Lamar because he teaches math. And I was like, babe, it's been suggested that I call these Mathemastician socks. And he was like, I like that. Like, so, I had mentioned wanting to do the Fibonacci sequence for a pair of socks as well. So then I was like, well, I have to at least have 3 pairs of socks in this in order for it to be like a collection. Like in my mind, you have to at least have 3 things for you to be able to call that a collection. So I went online and I was looking up different like number sequences, and I came across triangle numbers, which I love because I love triangles. They're like my favorite shape. I love the strength that... You okay, Kiva? She just like jumped up out of her sleep. You okay? Am I talking too much? You can't sleep? I'm too loud? Stop staring at me so hard. So I went online and I was searching and kind of exploring number sequences, looking for one that could lend itself to like a stripe pattern or something like that. And I came across triangle numbers. And because it's easier for me to show than explain, this is the sequence. So basically, you get a triangle number when you add like to the image the number of dots that it would need to create a larger triangle. So from 1 dot, if you add 2 dots below it, it becomes a triangle of 3. The next you would add 3 dots, it would become a triangle of 6. Add 4 dots, a triangle of 10. 5 dots, a triangle of 15, and so on. So because I love triangles, like they're my favorite shape, I love that they have such strength. Yeah, I have a weird appreciation for triangles. So when I saw that and I learned of that sequence, I was like, okay, that can definitely be one. So now I just want to figure out how I'm going to use the numbers in the sequence, like in the stripe sequence, to best like design wise. I don't think I want to do it like I did the pie socks, where I just alternate the colors for the appropriate number of rows. I think I might want to try something else with this. But yeah, so that's triangle numbers. And then Lamar suggested that I use the number phi or phi. I don't remember how it's pronounced, but it is, I want to say, the golden ratios number. I think so. So I looked up that number and it could work. The only thing is the fifth digit in the number is a 0. So I don't know how I would, like off the top, I don't know how I would incorporate that 0 into the number sequence. I did see like someone else did a pie sock. So this individual added 1 to every digit of pi, so that as they were making the socks, whenever a 0 came up, it would actually be a 1. So I don't think I really want to do that because, I don't know, then it's not the number. You know what I mean? I may be thinking about this one too hard, but we'll see. But I am definitely going to put together a recipe set or recipe collection for the Mathemastician socks because I'm just in love with that idea. That's like one of the fun things that's coming up on my maker plans list. I do have another fun thing on my maker plans. And look at that. It's my puppy love shawl, designed by Kalisha Ryan. Yay! So I went through, I wrote out my pattern. So I have it here. I'm throwing everything all over the place. I want to make another puppy love shawl. It's going to be the pattern sample, but what I'm also doing is the original 2 shawls that I made were made with DK weight, but DK weight is kind of hard to, not really hard to find in the States, but it's just not as common as like worsted weight or like sock weight or anything like that. I have noticed that typically I do find more DK weight in baby yarns. They tend to be more DK weightish, but they also tend to be like pastel colors. So I am going to make another one in worsted weight, and I think I'm going to update this pattern to reflect the worsted weight numbers, and then that way if you want to do it in DK you can. If you want to do it in worsted, you can. It gives it a little bit more flexibility. So, yeah, I'm super excited about this. I'm going to be crocheting this next version directly from this pattern, updating the numbers based on the actual stitch counts and everything like that. And once I get that done, I'm going to shoot it out to the volunteers or to the people who volunteered to test it for me. And yeah, and I'll have that out. It would be excellent, like absolutely wonderful if I could have it out by my birthday. We'll see how that goes. That's not going to happen because I have to crochet one, and then somebody else has to crochet one, and then I have to make corrections based on that. So if I could have it out before the beginning of summer, I think that would be great. So yeah, I think that's everything for maker plans. That's everything for like the yarny side of maker plans. I do have like a loose sewing maker plan. One of my goals for this year is to knit fabric. No, is to sew with knit fabric. I've never sewn anything with knits, and seeing like all of these dresses that people are creating online, it's just really made me want to try it out. So I have been browsing the apparel fabrics and the knit fabrics whenever I go to Joann's, and a couple days ago I was looking at some of the knit fabric and like touching it and everything, and I felt myself getting really, really nervous and like almost borderline scared to try it. So as soon as I recognized that feeling and I addressed and I realized what it was, I thought to myself, well, this is definitely something that I need to do as quickly as I can. Like I have to take on this fear, because crafty little Kalisha cannot be walking around in the fabric store scared of a particular kind of fabric. No, that's not gonna happen. No ma'am. No ma'am, Pam. So I am looking for a knit dress, like a very simple knit dress, like for beginners with knit fabric. So if you have any recommendations, leave them down below for me so that I can conquer this fear. I'd appreciate that. And that will bring us right along into Stashquisitions. So I mentioned earlier that I am going to do another puppy love shawl from the pattern that will be the pattern sample, and I did get the yarn for it. It is, I love this yarn, 100% acrylic. I got it from Hobby Lobby. Last week Hobby Lobby was having a sale where all of their yarn was 30% off, so I was like, okay, I can dig it. That saves me from having to buy one ball a day, because who will remember to do that? Not me. So I got this black. This is going to be the color representing Tootie. And then this is Toasted Almond. This is the color that represents Kiva. And this is like right on. Like, I wish she was awake so I could show it to you. And then this is Ivory Tweed. And this is going to be the color that represents both of them. So that is my Puppy Love shawl. The pattern, for the pattern sample. And how was I going to organize the colors? Okay, the main two colors are going to be these, of course. So I'll start out with the Kiva colorway and do the solid and the mesh sections. And then I'll have a solid section of Tootie. And then I'll do the crochet brioche in the two of them together. And then the last mesh section and solid section is going to be the tweed. So that's how that will go. And I specifically wanted to get brand new balls of yarn so that I can know exactly how much yarn each section is taking, so that I can make any necessary adjustments. So I'm very excited about this, and I love this yarn. It's very, very soft, and it washes and then it gets even softer, so I really love that. I guess they named it properly. I love this yarn. So yeah, that is the last thing in my maker plans. Let me take a look at my notes. Or not maker plans, stash positions. That's stash positions. I did pick up a couple new pieces of fabric for my stash. As you know, I'm a space loving somebody, and whenever I find new space fabrics, I just have to buy some. So I found this at Joann's. Like, look at this. That's just beautiful. Like, I should just frame this. I love that. So I've got that, which definitely makes me feel like I need to do another space bag update, because I think those, out of the bags that I've made, the space bags were my most popular ones so far. And then when I went to the fabric store looking for more of that blue and Cara fabric, and they didn't have any, I was wandering around and they got this in, which, duh, had to buy that. Look at that. It's constellations. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So much. And of course, like, the first thing that I always have to find whenever there's like a ton of constellations on anything, I'm like, do they have Orion? Do they have Gemini? And yes, they do. And I love that it even has like the names of some of the stars in there. Yeah, that's super cool. And they're also like appropriately spaced. Not appropriately spaced. They're accurately spaced. So like if you actually look up in the sky, you will see Orion, and then to this side you'll see Gemini, and then below Orion you'll see Canis Major. So I think that's really cool how they've put it on the fabric that way. And this glows in the dark. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tootie. Quiet. Toot. Toot. Quiet. So yeah, those are the two fabrics that I've added to my space fabric collection. And that's all for stash acquisitions. Yeah. So, as I mentioned earlier, am working on my February update. I will have lots of African print and Cara fabrics in the shop in celebration of Black History Month. I'm also debuting a new bag shape, so that's going to be fun. We've got some new hardware that we're incorporating into the bag designs, which is fun and I'm excited about. And then, of course, I will have Valentine's fabrics. And what I'm really liking about the Valentine's fabrics that I chose, there's only one that's like blatant Valentine's. Like, obviously for Valentine's. The rest of them are, I don't even think any of the other ones were marketed as Valentine's or like lovey fabric patterns. But when I looked at them, I was like, you know what, this could really go under Valentine's. I like the look of it. Yeah, so I've got some of those, and I will show you a quick kind of flip through of the different patterns that will be in the shop. I am planning for the update to be February 5th, which is the first Monday of February. So be ready to check out the shop then. I will have 4 different size bags. Of course, they'll all be on different patterns. Each bag is one of a kind. I am still running the 20% off, so if you want to use the code QMC20, that will give you 20% off of your purchase. I think that's it, really. And then life and whatnot. I have been feeling like this strange homesickness for the mountains, and today when I was at the park, it was nice being out in nature and surrounded by the trees and everything like that. I even took my shoes off and was walking barefoot, you know, grounding myself and everything. But it wasn't like the same as, I don't know how to say it. It wasn't the right forest. Does that make sense? Like this, like here there were all the trees, but they're so tropical and the ground is so full of sand, and I don't even know. It's so weird. Like, I just want to put my hands on like dirt. I don't know. I really have to kind of work through what I'm actually needing. Like, it feels like a craving. Like, you know, sometimes you crave a certain kind of food. That's what it feels like. It feels like some sort of craving for something, and I just need to figure out what exactly that is so that I can satisfy that craving. Like, I was describing to Lamar the other day that I felt like I needed to stick my hands like in the dirt. And he looked at me like I was absolutely crazy, but I was like, you know what? It's fine, whatever. I know what I'm talking about. But, you know, maybe I need to start a new garden. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. Let me know if you have ever felt this way. Fingers crossed I'm not the only one who has these kind of feelings every once in a while. Like, yeah. I feel like I need to go hug a tree. So yeah. That's about it, guys. I feel like I've talked to you guys long enough today. I am going to try to edit this so that it'll be ready to go up tomorrow morning. Yeah. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. If you're a new viewer, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I am also going to be uploading the video of, or the vlog of me at the park today when I was walking around and everything. So you'll get to kind of see the Wekiva Springs State Park, you know, what it's like out there and everything. So keep a lookout for that video. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back, coming to see me. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment down below of something positive that happened to you this week so that we can share out that positivity and make somebody else smile. Again, thanks for being a part of my world. Bye.